Well, how's it going there, guys? James here from Butler Farms on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. I have to admit something. I don't have many lazy days where I just, you know, even on rainy days I try to get out and do something. Guys, I just hadn't today. It's been one of those kind of days where I've done what I've had to do. I've sharpened some lawnmower blades, getting ready and stuff like that. And I got some things on my list. I just, you know, I just wanted to rest today, so I just rested. But I did want to bring you a quick update on the update from the garden the other day, and try to keep this kind of short. But as you can see, if you remember from the video the other day, we were covered up in grass, and it's just part of all this rain that we've been having. I hadn't been able to get down here. I hadn't been able to get a tiller in here. And even trying to use the scuffle hoe, the few times I tried to do it, I sunk up to my ankles in some places out here. So finally got in here yesterday. The rain did not come in like they said it was supposed to. It did sprinkle a couple of times on me, but it was still pretty wet down here. But was able to get the tiller up here through my tomatoes. Now I will say this will be the absolute last time I'll be able to use the tiller this year between the rows, at least in the spring and summer gardens, just simply because they're starting to fill in, and especially with my different squashes up there. As you can see right there, they are really starting to run, and I just don't want to keep moving them around and disturbing them. So yeah, it'll be the last time. I was able to get up about half the rows. These down here on the bottom I had to do by hand. That's why they don't look quite as good. But you can see these up through here, and yeah, there's footprints everywhere. Can't really help that, but I was able to get the tiller up through there, but guys, it was close. So I don't want to do that again. I don't want to hurt my root systems. I don't want to hurt my plants. I spent a good bit of time cleaning up around some of these bushes, some of the pepper plants and things like that, just to get some of the bulk out from around the base of it. I can see one of my pepper plants that I missed. You know, you always find that every time you come back to the garden. The squash plants are looking good. As you can see, I cleaned up the hills. I was able to come down in between them and get that cleaned up. But you can see how long these runners are starting to get. This is the butternut squash, and I just, you know, I'm just gonna have to let it be what it is. There's another little baby coming there. I just don't want to keep moving these vines and end up breaking them and messing them up as they continue to grow. These are the Seminole pumpkins down here, and you can see how long they're getting. So like I said, it'll be the last time. Now I did want you to see, there's the 3 okra plants. Again, we've got those yellow crookneck. There's 1, there's 2. So as I told you in the last video, maybe, just maybe, we're going to have some yellow squash after all. There's 1 there. I don't see another one in this hill, but it is what it is. I did not till or hoe this little section right here. This is where I put that sweet meat pumpkin, and I'm waiting to see what pops up there. This may be one. Nope, that's a piece of grass. But I'll come back and clean this out when they pop up. They still haven't popped through the surface yet, so I'm gonna give them a little bit more time. But here's one of the main things I worked on yesterday. I told you I was gonna have to find a different system to hold these cucumbers, because even though my plan to begin with was to put them on the fence, obviously they're too far from the fence. I needed to be closer. I don't have any cattle panels available right now. Every cattle panel I have is being used, and plus I have all these stakes. You can see them over there in the corner. This is just 3/8" rebar. They're 10-foot sticks. I cut them in half and make 2 5-foot sticks out of them. And I usually pick up 4 or 5 of those 10-foot sticks a year and just keep adding to it. And you know, between the tomatoes and now the cucumbers up here, and plus what I've got left over and what I've got at the shop, I've got a pretty good collection. These I wish were a little bit taller, because once I drive them into the ground, they're only about 4 foot out of the ground, but that's fine. I'm just trying to find ways to do it without going to buy more cattle panel and going to buy this and going to buy that. I'm trying to make do with what I have. Now another thing that I have here is a lot of this this nylon string, and it is extremely strong. This is the same string that I use on my jugs for jug fishing. I try not to put them on my tomatoes simply because at the end of the year when I cut those loose, I just cut the jute, let it drop to the ground, and it rots, you know, in the ground. It's biodegradable. But this stuff I'll have to cut and get out of here because it'll never go away. But it is a lot stronger. Like I said, this is what I use for my jugs for jug fishing. I think it's got, this particular one has like 110-pound tensile strength, which allows me, you can see I got pretty close to the ground with the first one. The first run, it's about 3 inches off the ground, I guess. And the reason I did that is to give them a chance to find something to grab onto and then start pulling themselves on up. Then I put about 8 inches between each new run. I only did 4 runs so far, but you can see I've got a lot more room. Maybe you can see that one a little bit better. I got a lot more room to go. I could probably put another 4 or 5 up through there to kind of share some of the weight. But look right here. See what's already happening? They're already starting to grab on, and that's what it gets them up off the ground. I kind of picked this one up and set it on there, and you can already see what's happening right there. It's starting to grab on. These are still a little bit too short, but once they get a little bit longer, I'll be able to come between these two and put it right here. Now these are pretty tight, and all I do is I tied it off down here at the end in a knot. And what I tried to do is, there's no real rhyme or reason to this spacing. As you can see right there, there's nothing in between those. But if I would have gone from this pole all the way to that one, that's about a 8 or 9 foot run right there, and that would be too much slack in the line. You know, for these growing right here. And so what I did is I put one in the middle to kind of carry some of that weight, and then as I went down through there, since only one came up right there, it gets one in the middle, and then right down there I've got 2 in between those posts. So where there's more growth, there's more posts. I have no shortage of the posts, so therefore I can put a lot more. So as I came down through here, I'll do a wrap and pull it as tight as I can without pulling my pole out of the ground. Then I come to the next one and I do the exact same thing and pull this one tight in between those, and so on and so forth. Now when I get to the end, you got to keep it tight all the way. You can see there's 2, even though this is a long run without anything in it, this is carrying some of the weight because that would be an entirely too long of a run between here and here for these 2 plants. So putting it there gives it some strength for these 2 plants. You can see those are only about 4 foot apart, but there's 2 plants sitting there. So when I get down to the end, what I do is I wrap it about 3 good hard times, and you can see how tight that is. And then I just tie it off, and that's it. And then I turn around and go back the other way. It's not rocket science. There's nothing to it. But this is what I've got to work with this year. Like I said, I'm not going to go buy, I don't even know what cattle panels cost these days. I hadn't bought one in so long. But I know I'll have to buy some in the future. But right now, I just don't see spending that money when I've got all these stakes. Like I said, these cucumbers were just an experiment to begin with. I've got all this string, and I can make those very tight. I mean, I know you can't hear that, but it's like strumming a guitar string. So you know, as they keep coming up and keep getting heavier, I'll keep adding some more structure to it, and these little tendrils that are coming out will grab onto them and support themselves. And so that's just what I'm going to do with them this year. One other thing, I was able to get down here with the weed eater and go around the sides of the garden, which opened it up a lot more. There's a lot more light, a lot more air that can come through here now. It's kind of hard to tell in the camera, but this little grassy area here was probably up to, there was weeds probably about up to there. And so by weed eating them down, not only is that allowing more air to come through, which I am a big believer in as far as pests goes, it also allows more light to come through in the mornings, because right over there is east. So sun comes up there, and so these tomato plants can get that early morning sun without those weeds in the way. But also, the weeds around your garden are harboring pests. I mean, that's where they're living. And so the more that I can keep out of here, the better. And I can see now that I'm gonna have to come down here first of next week and tie up some more tomato plants, because they are still growing. These two cherry tomato plants, man, are out of control. Those, as I said, they're extremely weak, but man, they're outgrowing. Look how much bigger those are than the rest of them. But it's just nature of the beast there. All right, just wanted to bring you a quick update on the garden update that we did the other day, just to show you that I actually did get something accomplished, and did get it cleaned up. She's good to go now. She'll have to be, because like I said, I'm getting to the point now I can't get a tiller in here anymore. And so everything from here on out, hopefully the plants will shade a lot of it out, but from here on out it'll have to be done by hand, which I'm not looking forward to, but that's part of it. That's what I signed up for. So she's ready to rock and roll now, and looking forward to some good things and some good food coming out of here. All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I got a couple other things to do before I call it an afternoon, and shut it down for the day. Like I said, I hadn't gotten a lot accomplished today. Just one of those lazy days. It's not that I feel bad, I just feel like resting today. So I get one of those every 3 or 4 months, and just want to sit and do pretty much nothing. I'm usually reading about homesteading or gardening, though, to be honest with you. All right, guys, let me get out of here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Tell a friend. Get them to come over here and watch a video with you and see what they think. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up at the end of the video, and leave a comment down below. Let's start a conversation. Until next time, we love you. God bless you. This is James from Butler Farms, and we'll be seeing you.